And good afternoon, everybody. And thank Furlough, it's Thursday. Yeah, we're a day early this week, as obviously tomorrow is VE Day, and we'll all be thinking about things 75 years ago. We must remember it's celebrating the end of a horrible war, not celebrating the war itself. So I trust you'll all give it some thought, and also give a thought for that poor millennial who was tweeting recently, saying, "I can't believe that we've only been out of Europe a year and we're already having a day off to celebrate." So I think they were getting a bit mixed up with Brexit there, but never mind. Our future is in the hands of the millennials, so let's hope some of them are a little bit better informed than that. So anyway, I'm very pleased that we brought our day forward, and as we brought the day forward, I have the inimitable Jacquie Mount with me again today, who's going to do catch up. And she's also going to ask for some of you to give her a hand, because I gather yesterday the meetup with some of you to get your guidance and advice and your feedback on the lockdown systems as far as they affect nurseries. It went so well that she's decided to do a few more of them. But anyway, listen up for that, because we want you to put your hands up, figuratively, if not necessarily physically. But hi, Jacquie.
Hi, nice to speak to you all again. It doesn't seem that long ago since I was here, which it wasn't, because I think it was Monday. However, just a brief top up of things that have happened this week. First of all, the business bounce back loans have now opened up on, I think it was Monday, the 4th. And feedback from that is that it's going quite smoothly. I was reading some articles this morning, and apparently some people had applied to Santander Bank and actually had the money in their account within about 4.5 hours from the start of the application process. So if you have clients or businesses yourselves who are in that position, they're aimed at the smallest of businesses, small businesses, so less than 50 employees, who perhaps can't benefit from the business interruption loans. Have a look on that through the British Business Bank, the links. Not all the banks are part of it yet. I think Garry mentioned that on Monday, read out a list. There is a slight issue if your bank hasn't yet joined up, because it means you're not going to be able to access it, because Barclays, for example, are only giving out loans to people who already have an account with them, so I understand. But that's going, and if you can actually get in touch with your own bank who are offering them, that should be going through fairly smoothly. The first plea for help from you today is to do with what's called SEISS, which is SEISS, or, let me get this right, self-employed, no, it's gone, SEISS, self-employed income support scheme.
Yeah.
Self-employed income support scheme. Basically, it's the grant for the self-employed, which opens up actually on the 13th of May for applications. And as I said on Monday afternoon, Hmrc have an eligibility checker, which you can log into. You can log into it as an agent, pardon me, log into it as an agent on behalf of your clients or yourself. The only thing you need to start up is the client's UTR number and their national insurance number. And then when you go on, you just put those two bits of information in. Hmrc has all the information it needs as to who is eligible or not. So if you are not eligible, you will get an immediate notification that, sorry, you're not eligible because of one of the number of reasons. Talking to somebody yesterday in our little webinar group yesterday, and apparently the feedback from that was that the wording in that is somewhat accountancy based, and that it could possibly be slightly more user friendly. If you get through that stage and you don't get a negative message, then that means that you are probably going to be eligible for the grant. And at that stage, what you do is you go into your government gateway account. Now, this means that if you're an agent, you can log in with your agent gateway details for your client. And what happens then is that you make sure you put the client's email in and possibly a telephone number, but email, and then it will tell you the date at which you can apply, from which you can apply. So if it says 8 o'clock on the 14th of May, that means you can't apply before that time, but you can apply any time after that. Once you actually make the application, though, it is the individual only who needs to make that application and not the agent. Now, this has caused a huge amount of controversy around the accountancy profession at the moment. The reason that HMRC have given for this is that it was a much quicker system to set up for the individuals to apply, and they were very worried about fraudulent claims from people other than the individuals concerned. It wasn't aimed, as some people seem to think, as an accusation that the accountants are going to be fraudulent and claim on their client's behalf and then keep the money. It was because in designing their systems for this to allow intermediates to go in to make the claim, other people could hack into the system. I can't comment on that, but it would be, we would like some feedback, please, from members. You can email me if you've got my email address, or member services. If you have had some experience of this, we would like just a very brief note if you've got the time, so that I can feed this back to HMRC next week, because the instant results have been that it's a fairly straightforward, positive process. I think, Garry, you've had some comments on it this week.
Yeah, we've had quite a few this week saying I've done it, it's gone there, people have got the money, etc. But I'm very pleased to see you're back on the HMRC Christmas card list, apparently.
Yes, I am. Yes, I've made my peace with HMRC. I upset them last weekend, and you know you've upset them when they email you back on a Sunday and say, "Can we have a call?" So that's sorted now. So we're back on the HMRC Christmas list, or I am.
It's nice to know they're working on Sunday like the rest of us. I must admit,
either that or my contact there was trying to get away from the children. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying at the moment that their whole day has changed, really. I mean, I got up this morning pretty early for some breakfast, went in and switched the computer on and started answering emails, not remembering that it was before 7 o'clock. So I immediately apologised to people saying, I'm sorry, I'd forgotten it was 7 o'clock. Got waylaid completely, conversations with all sorts of people, including your good self. And I've literally walked out of the shower about 5 minutes ago, a bit late in the day. You know, I didn't want you thinking I was smelling bad. So
it's interesting about the change of routine, because I've spoken to a couple of members who have obviously have little ones, and their day has completely gone around because they're trying to homeschool, trying to work, got little ones running around, husbands in and out or whatever. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum where you have teenagers, or in my case, teenage grandchildren, who decide that they've now that they're not going to school, they've completely moved their day so that they don't get up until about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then they stay up till about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I think this is something that a lot of people with teenagers, so that allows our members to work in the morning and then allow the teenagers to have the internet in the afternoon. But I digress.
They have talked for many years about moving the school day, haven't they, a bit later?
There is one public school in London, I think, that's already done that. They bring them in at 1 o'clock, I think, after a certain age, and take them through till 7 or 8 because they get a better result from them. But anyway. Right, so back to the SAYS grants. So I would appreciate some feedback. If it's positive, that's not too bad, but particularly if you have some feedback which is less than positive, you know, you've had problems or issues, or if you think that the time that you're going to take as an agent is over and above what you would normally expect to do for your clients in such a situation, we would be interested to hear about that, because some of the accountancy reps are saying, do you realise how much of this we're going to have to talk our clients through, and how much it's going to cost them for our time? So I would be very interested in some of your thoughts on that. I would like to send a fairly positive feedback back to HMRC, but it has to be a realistic one. So if you've got problems, please let me know. So say it's top-up grant. Oh yes, top-up grants. The top-up grants is an add-on to the business interruption loans paid out through local councils up to £50,000. I think it's 50,000, might be 20, I can't remember now. And it's for those who can't get the business interruption loans. So it's aimed at smallest of businesses, so less than 50 employees, at the discretion of the local authority of your council. And it's for people who cannot get the business interruption grants because they're not paying rates, because the rates may be included in the rent that you pay if you're part of a serviced office. So we've spoken about that before. So I know we've got a couple of members there who are in that situation where they've got clients in serviced offices who can't claim. I know I've been in considerable email conversation with one member about that already, what you can and can't do. So this is there, providing you've got less than 50 employees, might be there as a possible top up to you for that. The only other thing I've got to say at the start is Garry mentioned focus groups. We had a very positive focus group meeting with members who have clients who run early years nurseries, and we discussed at length yesterday the ways that the furlough grants. I've since been contacted by another member who's joining that group, and I've got a meeting with her on Monday. So if there's anybody else in that situation who has an early years nursery or other businesses that are part funded by local educational authorities or county councils, I think we'd be very interested to hear from you. But it was so positive that we'd like to set up a couple of more focus groups. And the first of these I want to set up is for anyone who's got clients in the construction industry. Now, there is a plan for this October that the whole way that subcontractors in the CIS will be charging that, and that's a massive change. And there is a government consultation out at the moment that ICB wants to respond to. So I would very much like some input and feedback from members on that. I know there must be loads of you. So if you could email in and let me know if you're interested in joining that. We'll try and set up a meeting probably in about 2 weeks. It'll be a Zoom meeting like this, but it'll be one that is an interactive meeting, so you can join in. If we've got, you can't really do it with more than about 12 or 15, otherwise it becomes a free-for-all, but please let us know. And the other one that I'd like to look at is members who have clients who have businesses which hold money on behalf of their clients. So we're looking at legal businesses, possibly estate agents, anything that's governed by you holding money. And the reason for us wanting to do this as a separate focus group is there are some possible changes coming in to what our members may or may not be able to do, but that's quite a long way down the line. And secondly, we are looking at the possibility, as I have been along with Garry for about 5 years now, of trying to possibly set up a separate qualification for that. And I'd like to get some input from you. So 2 possible new focus groups. Oh, sorry, there is a third one that Garry wants us to set up, and that's for anybody who is an employed bookkeeper. We have a growing number of employed bookkeepers, and we'd like to make you a separate focus group so that we can actually make sure that we're catering to your needs and offering you what you need, and what more can we do for you. So again, if you're employed, please contact us. You can send it to attention Jacquie Mount to memberservices@bookkeepers.org.uk. I will get back to you at some stage. If I'm inundated, it's going to take a bit longer, but we'll be hoping to set up the first of these meetings at some stage within the next 3 to 4 weeks, just as an introduction. And then I've got a focus group that I can go out to when I need to take some instant feedback.
Yeah, I think that's a great move, Jacquie, because although we have the council, and the council are absolutely brilliant at feeding back to us, we are putting a lot of work their way. And I think it would be very good to be able to have a group of sort of mixture of council, but non-council members who are out there at the chalk face doing this on a day-to-day basis, and they can give us their real impression about what's going on out there. We've always liked to meet our members to get informed, and now that we're not meeting each other at things like Inspire Tour, this will be the great opportunity. So yeah, I think that's going to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
well, I think now that we've got this Zoom capability as well, I think it's going to make it so much easier, because you can literally have a brief half-hour meeting, you get a huge amount done in half an hour, and nobody's got to travel anywhere, and you know, it's done and dusted, and then we can come back again when I've rounded everything up. So yeah, that's not all for me. Oh, we've got some questions coming in.
Well, just talking about the branch meetings, so far this week we've had East and West Sussex, I had 17 to that. Avon pulled in 39, well done Avon, and Kent 28 also earlier. We've also had the cash flow in COVID-19 seminar, which took place. And we've got quite a few coming up. So we've got Aberdeenshire, Enfield, Essex, Lincolnshire, West Midlands, South Yorkshire, Oxfordshire, Surrey. That's as far as mine goes, up to Surrey on the 20th there. So these branch meetings are coming thick and fast. The numbers are going up and up and up. And, you know, it's absolutely great to see that. I'm just looking there. Which one's that? Yeah, that's the Enfield branch. That's up to 31 already. So Enfield being one of the new branches, it's a break off, an offshoot to the main London branch, which is still pulling in the numbers. But it was felt that it was actually decided before lockdown. So it was decided a lot of people didn't want to travel into the centre of London and cross the river to get to a meeting every month. So therefore, we needed one up in the northern part of London. But anyway, it does mean that we've got an extra meeting there. So good luck with that, everybody. It's proving, yeah, I mean, Zoom is doing wonders for us. It's great. We're getting far more people. And just to give you an idea, I always keep an eye on the daily programs that people then download it on Facebook or open it on Facebook. And yesterday's meeting so far has been opened by an additional 603 people.
Wow.
So, you know, that's a lot of people, and we're very pleased that we're really getting to all the corners of the Institute, as they say. So, fantastic. And, yeah, long may it continue. And if you think of something that you'd like us to see covered as a topic, please just drop us a note. Not necessarily here on a question, drop us an email, or put it through the questions if you like. But, yeah, is there something that you want to have focused on specifically that we can, I don't, not necessarily a whole program, but perhaps a whole program if it's a big topic, but please let us know. And just to say that our erstwhile head of all technical knowledge, Jacquie, is becoming ever more popular. She's got 2 sessions on in the coming weeks. Sage, Hmrc, another one there where she is the resident expert. And she jokingly said before that she's been asked to attend a rehearsal for those 2. As you may have guessed, we don't actually rehearse this program. We like it to be off the cuff, and we like things to be done as and when they arise. None of this practice questions or anything else. Talking of which, Jacquie, you're going through the questions.
I am, yes, right. Quite a few questions. Gosh, you're busy this afternoon. Right, so right, Nicola, do we know how long the applications will be open for the bounce back loan? As Kirsty said yesterday, some of us may not feel the hit for a month or 2 yet, but may need access. Are we allowed to apply now, even though we have not been adversely hit? I do think you have to make a declaration that you've suffered in some way. I don't know how long they're going to be open for. I think the situation of all of this is going to start to change after next week. We await Boris's announcement, our Prime Minister's announcement on Sunday as to the possible moves for the lockdown. I have to say, I did have a rather cynical view this morning that he's not doing it today, because if he announces some lack of restrictions tomorrow and it's a nice day, everybody's going to go out and do all sorts of things tomorrow. So that's going to be announced on Sunday, but that's very cynical of me, I know. But as far as the business bounce back loans, I'm not sure on that. Let me just quickly pick up the rest of the business.
Sue Raisin also asked about the loan. If somebody goes out of business within the 6 years, will the sole trader be liable? I thought this was non-guaranteed.
The business bounce back loan is 100% guaranteed by the business, but going out of business, I think ceasing your business, I think is a different matter to going out of business because you're going into liquidation. Yeah. So I think there is going to be some check at the end of the day that if your business folds, basically, if you go into liquidation and you're made bankrupt, then I would imagine that's what the government cover is for. If you then choose to cease your business voluntarily, I think you're going to be liable to pay it all back. And Sarah Douglas, hi Sarah, says businesses should be careful when applying for the bounce back loans. If they do, they will not be able to apply for the bigger interruption loan, which they may need. And that's absolutely right. It's one or the other, not both. Let me quickly go through the rest.
Peter Moriarty says several of my clients have had an email rather than a letter to inform them of the date time they could make their SACE claim.
Yes, they are trying to email people, but there are members who, there are people out there who don't necessarily, that they don't have up-to-date emails for. So I think they said it will be email in the first instance, then a text message, followed by a letter if they can't get you in any other way. Says Bev Arnold, hi Bev. with SACE, is there a cut-off date by which applications need to be made? There is a period of 5 days in which you can apply, but I'm not sure whether that's a cut-off if you don't apply for it after that. I don't think so, but this is going to come to an end within the foreseeable future. So at some stage there will be a cut-off date, but obviously if we hear that, we'll let you know. Paul Ingram, hi Paul. Oh yes, now this is what's coming through. Paul says, I've done this, and as you said, the agent can't do the application, but my client doesn't remember that they have a government gateway themselves, as I have been doing the self-assessment. Yes, this is the problem. How much support are you going to have to give your clients, because they can't log on for themselves? They don't have a government gateway. The government gateway, if they have one, and you know what it is, or they know what it is, if you follow through the link, there is a link on there that says forgotten your government gateway, and there are links all the way through to take you through the various stages. There is also a help video on YouTube, which I can probably get the link up to, because my HMRC contact sent it in this morning. I had to say I had a look at it, and it was not the most inspiring of YouTube videos, and I've still got a feeling there might be a slight difference between what I know some people have seen on the screen and what they're saying happens.
Can we get that on as well, Jackie? I mean, really, everything that you say ends up on the home, does it not? On the ICB home? Yes, we tend to go through, and at the moment, what I've been doing is I've been going through the COVID hub and updating the information, which has now been set out into very distinct areas. So if you go through that and there's a particular query, it's fairly clear where you can find that answer. And we're now updating that. I know it's quite a long document, but you shouldn't have to plow through everything. If you look at the main headings, you'll be able to find the bit you're looking for, and everything is being updated on that. So I will add some more information. Faye, I've got early years funding at nurseries. Thank you, Faye. I will be in touch with you and get you onto my group for that. Susanna Whelan says, I have told my clients that if they do not have one already, they will need to set up a government gateway account. I'm not clear if in addition to this, I have to add or activate self-assessment within this. No, I don't think you do. I think once you've got you apply for the government gateway, it comes through instantly, and then you have access to the account. They have taken away quite a lot of the security for this, which is one of the reasons why it's only the individual that can apply. Not the agent, because I think some of these security systems that normally back this up have been removed to try and ease the process. We have another volunteer, Michelle Lightfoot, wants to join your...
Oh,
nursery.
wow, you're brilliant. Michelle, so I'm writing that down, and I know there's one further down, I think, about something else. I think Clara's... Oh, I'll come to you in a minute, Clara.
Jeff, can I ask about the furlough scheme, please? Ask away, Jeff.
Hang on, yes, sorry, Michelle, I will contact you. You do not need to do anything. I have your name and I'll contact you. Jeff Cavendish, can I ask about the phone?
Yeah, I've just said, yeah, ask away. Clara's the next one there.
Oh yes, Clara, that's great. Could you possibly send an email to member services so that I've actually got your details of who you are and your membership number? Google Clara. So that I can actually track you down, and I will be in touch with you, Clara. Thank you very much indeed. I'm very interested in looking at the qualification you're doing as well. Jason Alderson, hi all. I have a client who is worried when he opens his business back up, staff may refuse to come into work. Can we take them off furlough without their permission? Right, this is an interesting one. It's probably to do with the reason why your staff aren't coming back to work. If you are opening up and they do not feel safe at coming into work because of social distancing rules that are going to be coming into place, then that's one possible issue. The other is that they're just refusing to come back to work because they don't want to, in which case you can legitimately go through a redundancy route with them. But you've then got to do that legally. You've got to give them notice, you've got to go through the various stages, you might have to pay them a statutory payment. So there is some information about people who are refusing. No, there's a lot of information about people refusing to be furloughed, in which case you can make them redundant. but I haven't seen very much yet about bringing staff back. So I'll watch out for that one.
Jackie, can I say, you said to Michelle you'd contact her. Obviously, Clara, the reason we asked you to contact us is we don't have your surname. I've just looked, we've got 14 Claras, so I can't quite figure out which one you are.
And also Carol, Carol, who says, I have a client who handles client money. If you two could come back to us, that would be great, and I will contact you within the
Judging by the spelling, I should imagine that's Carol from Devon. Carol.
That's what I wondered, yeah.
Carol.
Okay.
I think
But it would be a help if you could just come back to me. Alice Mason. Hello, Alice. Hello, and thank you for the daily updates. I've got an issue with some of the directors telling me to furlough them.
Wow.
They aren't working as such and are possibly studying and going through CPD. But then I see regular monthly supply invoices for services such as marketing linked in search to increase the number of customers. What do I do? I know it's not the director doing the cold calling, but I want to make sure I don't get my practice into trouble. The director cannot do any work if it leads to business income generation. We still have a slight discussion going on amongst the other professional bodies about whether they can run things like payroll, but we have said, yes, we think you can, because you've got to pay and furlough your staff and make arrangements. As long as you're not doing anything to actively promote your business. Presumably, if the director's got other staff that they furloughed, or somebody's doing this, and I think whoever is doing the promotion is going to be working for the business. I think we might have to think about that one, Alice, and come back.
And can I straight away say to Carol, I've always presumed it was Carol Gibson. I've just looked at the database. Actually, we've got 14 people who are called Carol, spelt C-A-R-Y-L, 3 of whom are in the Philippines. So, yeah, I think we better take your surname.
Yeah, if you could. And another one that says Lee at Addo, A-D-D-O. Again, yes, more than welcome. We're going to be inundated, which is fabulous. Your CIS focus group, that's brilliant. Yeah, love it. Again, Lee, could you send an email in with your details, your full name and your membership number, so I can contact you at some stage. Jeff Kavanagh, furlough scheme. HMRC require an end date for monthly pay. I don't have an end date, just a start date, 1st of May. Well, if you're doing a start date for your furlough from the 1st of May, presumably you won't make the application till the end of May, and you'll do it from the 1st to the 31st, or whichever date you submit your payroll. You can't give an end date at the moment beyond the 14th of May. Well, you can go 2 weeks ahead. So you shouldn't be applying for anything that's not 2 weeks ahead. So with furloughing applications, what I would do is, the easiest way to do it is to do one a month. Go from the 1st to the 31st of May, put your submission in to cover your monthly payroll and any weekly payroll that's within that. And we've had a number of queries come through about people who are furloughed halfway through the month, and at the end of the month have only done 2 weeks. Can they then claim for the furlough for those 2 weeks, because the minimum is 3 weeks? So yes, officially it is. But in practice, what I know is going to happen, or not happen, is put your claim in for your furlough between start date and end date. And as long as you can say hand on heart that they have been furloughed for a minimum of 3 weeks, if your 3rd furlough week is in the next month, claim it in the next month. As long as you can prove that at the end of the furlough period, you've claimed the correct amount of money, you haven't overclaimed, you haven't been fraudulent, HMRC are not going to worry about things like that. They're going to have enough problems to worry about with people who are definitely fraudulently claiming. So I would go for months. And if you're paying weekly and you're only doing weekly payroll runs, you can claim weekly, you can claim every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, every month you can claim. As long as your dates follow on are consecutive and you can't go back and claim for someone from an earlier period, and once you've claimed, you can't claim more. If you've overclaimed, the suggestion is that you claim less the next time and reconcile it yourself so you don't overclaim. Philippa, again, lovely to join the solicitors group. Could you send
Can
us
we
an
have a
email?
name?
That would be brilliant.
Yeah. I have managed to track down Lee at Addo, by the way. That was a simple one, but the Philippa, I think we're going to struggle with.
Okay, that's right, Lee. I think as long as one of us has got you, that's fine. John says, surely you could only make them redundant if the job didn't exist. If you refuse to fulfill their contract, it could be a termination of contract. Yeah, you're going to get rid of them. How you do it is a legal thing, and I'm not up on employment law. Bookkeeping, I'm back up with. Sorry, Gary.
So apparently it is Carol Gibson. Hello, Carol. I wasn't sure, but I was surprised there were 14 of them, but three of you in the Philippines. So yeah.
Yes, I'm just about cope with being a bookkeeper and doing the technical side. I'm certainly not up on HR and employment law, but yes, if they're refusing to work, they're refusing to work. My only concern is that if they feel it is unsafe to come into work because the business is not allowing them to work safely, that I think is a different issue.
Is this Alice you're answering?
I think it was John or Alice came back.
All right.
One.
Alice has come back to say it was a sole director.
Oh,
yeah.
Clara Redford. Thank you, Clara. Yeah, you jot that down, Clara. 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Thanks, Clara. Alice, it's the sole. Oh, this is Alice who was asking about somebody doing marketing.
Yeah.
My gut reaction to that is if somebody's got to be doing it, unless you can prove that it's an automatic thing, that he's not that the director is not having any input in, then you can't furlough. They can't be furloughed.
No.
How are we doing? Jeff,
funny, isn't it? Because actually the idea of the furlough is you put staff into furlough who, without the furlough, you would lay off, and there might not be a job for them afterwards. But if you're the sole proprietor, I've got a funny feeling you're going to still employ yourself afterwards. But that the government aren't interested in that. They just want to make sure that people aren't working and claiming it at the same time. So. Yeah.
Linda says, please can I join the CIS meeting and also the client holding account meeting? Love to have you on both. Could you possibly just pop your membership number up in the chat if that's all right with you? If not, email. If I've got your membership number, then I'll contact you.
Got Susan Lang on Facebook. And Tyne and Weir branch are having a joint meeting with, a joint anti-money laundering meeting with Oxford on the 20th of May. Yes, I did hear about that. It's not on the list just yet, but so that'd be an interesting joint meeting. I'm not sure who's speaking, Steve possibly, but that'd be great. Thank you. Well, thank you for reminding me, Susan.
Actually, Susan, if you could just pop up on there from our meeting yesterday. Was it you that mentioned a certain council that was talking about fixed costs and percentage of funding? If so, can you just put yes or no up there, and I need to get back to you on that one. I have a client who Candace accounts for a boat brokerage that would be interested in joining. Brokerage is anybody who's holding client money. So Maggie, Maggie, if you could just either email us or pop your membership number up there. Oh, they're coming in thick and fast. I love you all.
I mean, the holding of money is something that we've always asked our members to avoid, or in fact told our members to avoid. But I think nowadays, because our members are getting far more involved in the higher level of accounts, it is something that we have to consider, which is why, Jacquie, you're organising a panel, isn't it? It's to see how to comply with the legislation around this. Boat brokerage.
Jill, yes, I've got you. Thank you very much. Oh, it wasn't me. Okay, Susan, thank you. Great, that's fine. I've got to find someone else then.
CIS for Jill.
Linda,
Jill Hartley.
0709. Thanks, Linda. I've got your number. Oh gosh, we're busy, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sue R, and that's 306095.
That's amazing, is it? You've got Sue,
Sophie,
right? Okay.
If you're listening, Sophie, can we make sure that we can get these questions and answers printed off and sent to me afterwards, please, so that I can, in case I missed anyone, and I can go through them. Yeah.
And Kirsty St. John, our panel from yesterday.
Thanks. Hi, Kirsty.
Says, I have clients using CS, but it's gas pipes rather than building. Does this count? If so, I can help, says Kirsty.
If they're using the CIS scheme, yes, it's everything, because basically what's happening is that from October, any interim subcontractors will not be charging VAT on their invoices. It comes in as a domestic reverse charge, if you haven't heard that little gem. And it is going to be a massive change to the way subcontractors invoice contractors and how we deal with it in the book. So we want to try and get something together so that by the time we get into October, we can get plenty of information out to you on how to do this, because you are going to get so many questions on it. But I do need to, we'll get this sorted with the focus group first of all. That's brilliant.
Right, yes.
Kirsty, yeah, Kirsty, CIS, Kirsty.
And can Faye Watkins join the CIS chat, please?
Yes, you certainly can, Faye. Lovely.
I think CIS is probably going to be one of the biggest groups because we have a lot of our members that are using that, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Lucy Brown as well from the CIS.
Very broad base. Oh, fabulous, Lucy. Thank you.
Steph Busby.
Yeah. Yes to all of you. What we might do is I'll have to see how many people we've got, because if the numbers go up too much, then I might have to draw the line at, you know, just use the people that have contacted us today, and then we'll widen this out later if we need to. But I need about maximum of about 15, which we're probably close to now. So that's absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much.
Just don't mention it in your article next week.
No, I won't.
You don't need to.
No, I've got enough. I've got enough. And we've got quite a wide range of members as well. Oh yes, Jeff Callender, thank you. I'm sure you're aware, my clients have been told VAT is not due until the 31st of March, effectively not paying VAT for a year. Be very careful with that, because it's only the February, March and April quarters or months that have deferred payments. As it stands at the moment, a VAT quarter that finishes on the 30th of June has to have the VAT paid by the 7th of August. Now, there is an article going out in the newsletter about that, because I've just written it, put some links. I've been asked to write one. So that will be going out next week, I think, in the next newsletter about the changes, the VAT deferments. So it's only the first 3 months, as it stands at the moment, that can be deferred to the 31st of March. You start paying again at the end of June, unless the Chancellor extends it. But I have a funny feeling with the amount that the Chancellor is spending at the moment, he may not defer that any longer, but we wait and see.
Although yesterday on Prime Minister's time at 5 o'clock or whatever it is, the Minister was Minister for Governments, I think it is, Government and Local Government, etc. I think I got the impression he was saying that the scheme to stop small businesses and certain sort of cafes and what have you paying rates, business rates, was being extended to the end of the year. Is that right? Is that your understanding? I
think it's extended. It could be extended to the end of the year. Certainly for leisure and hospitalities, it's to the end of the year, I think. So
yeah. Susan Lang says it was a lady from North Lincolnshire. Sorry, can't remember her name.
Yeah, no, I think Susan. I think I know who it was now.
Julia Anna would be interested in coming onto the CIS.
Yeah, that's fine. And thank you, Maggie, for your membership. Yeah, I'm going to get all these sent out. So that's great. I'll pick all these up from the questions when Sophie sends them to me, and I'll contact you all next week.
And Jeff Cavendish says, blimey, thank you. I wasn't going to worry about it. So, yeah, you can slip into a hole
yeah.
without thinking about it.
Yeah, no, be careful. It literally is only a deferment for February, March and April. So payments that were due to be made March, April, June, up to the end of June. So if you've May quarter, I think is still included in the deferment period, but June at the moment isn't. So yeah, watch out for that with your clients. And, otherwise, they are going to have a huge VAT bill to pay in March.
Yeah, but in return for us having helped him out with that one, he's come back and said business rates to the end of the year, but it's the financial year for restaurants, etc. 31st of the 3rd, 21. So yeah, that is some jump. So expect potholes and dodgy lights. But anyway.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, it's. I was listening to the guy from Kent County Council, and they were talking about the size of their rates hole this year.
So Harriet Belafonte is a bit concerned. She didn't join until late, so she's wondering why on earth we're gathering people's names. It's all right, Harriet. It's people who've agreed to pay double the fee for the coming year. No, only joking. Jackie will tell you what it's about.
Yeah, I'm setting up. I'm setting up focus groups, asking for people who have got clients in either legal bookkeeping or the CIS, and CIS has gone absolutely berserk, and people are sending their membership numbers in so I can contact them. So if you happen to have clients who are in the CIS, please let me know. We're trying to set a focus group up because there are major changes coming towards the end of this year. It may very well be that they'll defer them yet again. I don't know, but we'll see. At the moment, it's due to come in at the end of beginning of October. I think that's the...
Kevin Jarvis, something in the back of my mind is telling me we're not allowed to make payments to suppliers on behalf of a client, i.e. using clients' online banking. Can you confirm, please? What does that mean? That's not holding funds, is it? Is that what we're talking about?
No, we're talking about actually holding funds. But it is a similar link where you have access to your client's bank account to make payments. So you log into your client's bank accounts. I don't know whether it's a hard and fast rule, or Gary.
I was about to jump in there. Yes, you do need your own codes. Do not use your client's codes, because if anything ever goes wrong, there'll be no way of saying which of you made the error or which of you paid money out. So it's covering your back and also helping your client in as much as he will know that it's you that's paying the money. So just get separate personal logins.
Yeah. So presumably, if the client agrees that you should have access to their account and they arrange for you to have your own login, then that's fine because it can be checked.
Yeah.
It's the same as Hmrc. If you are gaining access to your client's Hmrc account, you must do it through your own agent's login and not through their personal login.
Yeah, that's Kevin Jarvis. So that's from the bookkeeping team that's becoming the other route normally. But anyway, thank you, Kevin. It's still good to hear from you, whichever route you decide to take. We're still here.
I think, oh, hang on, we've got... oh, here's an interesting one. Lisa, thank you. I've got that as well. We'll join the focus groups.
Sarah Douglas says you need to let your insurance know you are making payments, otherwise you're not covered by them if you make a mistake. So that's true enough. You need just add that into your insurance as to what you do. We're happy for you to do that, but only if, as I said earlier, you have your own login details. You should not be using somebody else's login. That's a bit like giving somebody else your password to your computer. So thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Jeff Cavender's come back and said, thank you, Jeff. He says, Windsor and Maidenhead Council are allegedly declaring bankruptcy due to lack of parking fees and penalty charges. Other tourist councils may also be affected. Yeah, certainly where I live, we've got, you know, surprising how much councils make from parking fines and parking and penalty charges and things. Thank you, everyone. I'm not going to thank you all for joining. Anyone who's put their membership numbers up, I will contact you. And Bhavani, I'm employed bookkeeper on furlough. Yes, we have an employed bookkeeper. Brilliant. We'd love you to join us. So,
and you're on furlough, but you're not actually doing anything which furthers the business, your business, you're helping ours. So that doesn't count. So thank you, Bhavani.
Employed bookkeeper. So obviously, we'll talk about employed bookkeepers at the meeting and the sort of jobs that you do. Are you employed by accountancy practices or as finance officers in non-accountancy practices and other forms of business? So there's a whole wide range there, and we can open that up to the support.
It's mainly, Jackie.
What you don't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly for people who are employed in non-bookkeeping or accounting businesses, because we need to get them involved, because sometime during, it was due to be this year, it may well now be next year, employed bookkeepers will start to come under the money laundering regulations in very similar ways to that the practicing bookkeeper is. So not a practicing license as such, but people need to be aware of their duties under money laundering, under fraud, proceeds of crime, and various other things. So because there has been a suspicion put forward that if a a business wants to do something dodgy, instead of employ a freelance bookkeeper, they bring them on as finance director or some posh title with a nice salary, on the basis that then they have their first duty to the business, not to us as their institute. So it's an interesting one, but one we need to work on, and we do need your help and guidance, please. Thank you very much.
Right.
Where else are we?
Okay, I think that's all of the questions at the moment. So
we are having a full set of sessions next week for 5 days. I haven't fully booked up the speakers for next week, but an email will be coming out so that you can plan at least a little bit in advance. I know we're a bit late in telling you these things, but you know, that's just the way it is. Sometimes guests fall back, and sometimes they come forward or forget the day or come up with all sorts of other things. So you know, it's a little bit hit and miss on occasions, but we will be around 3 o'clock every day next week. There's quite a lot going on at the moment. It doesn't seem to stop, and we'll be. The other thing that we're announcing is that we will actually be doing another Inspire tour. So Inspired Again, I think we're probably calling it. Slightly different format, learning from what we've done the first time, taking all the huge positives we got from that, but adding a few bits to it, perhaps cramming a little bit more into it even. But we will talk to you about that. That won't be next week. That will be probably early part of June, something like that. And that was so popular. It was incredible. Very high numbers for all of the events. So we'll give you notice about that in due course. So Jackie, what's coming up on your schedule for the next couple of weeks? What are you going to be doing?
I am doing, as I say, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm tied up with Sage webinars, answering questions. One of which is with Hmrc. The other, I think, is the Accountex one. And then I think it's just dealing with emails. I'll try and set these groups up alongside the normal day job, which is writing technical articles and things like that, and generally helping out wherever they want me to. So yeah, busy couple of weeks coming up, I think.
Yeah, okay, well, we're all going to have a sunny weekend and can't go anywhere, which is a shame. I bet as soon as any lockdown stops, it will start throwing down the rain, but that's life. We can't complain. And talking about VE Day, there were a couple of people talking on the television a couple of nights ago and saying, you know, if you think you've got it tough because you've got to lock down in these tough times, and somebody compared it to the war, and they said, you must be kidding. So there we had to hide away because we were being bombed and shot at and various other things. So thank your lucky stars. I'm not sure we all see it like that, but it's still tough for some of us. I can say that no, I'm now getting used to it a little bit, as I say, other than forgetting what time it is. But apart from that, or what day it is even. But I think most of us are sort of finding that we can do a lot more work at home than perhaps we'd realised before. But it will be nice to get back and see people across the table, particularly a waiter.
Well, we've apparently, where we are, I've just been contacted by a neighbour. We're having a VE cocktail party tomorrow, but we're all going to stand in our front gardens and have it socially distanced.
Oh, right, a bit like the Thursday clap then, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
That's
but with a glass of something. Completely non-alcoholic, of course.
We had our end of month team drinks with the staff, which we normally have at the office, but this time, I tell you what, they didn't seem to drink as much of their drink as they do of mine when I'm in the office with them. But never mind.
Message from Faye. Perhaps have an hour speaker read the CIS reverse charge for the webinar. Yes, I will probably have to do quite a lot on this, on how it's going to work. So we're going to have a meeting. I'll have a chat with Garry next week about how best we can get all this information across to you. But yes, I think I agree with you.
Bhavani, yeah, you're employed by an accountancy practice. You are, don't worry, we would love to hear from you. We'd love to talk to you, see how well you get on in a practice, etc. It might be that we split that group. But yeah, certainly we're very interested to hear from you. So please don't think we don't want to. And yeah.
And Helen says,
a speaker, a reverse on CIS reverse charge. Okay.
If you're not too bored with me by now, it might be me, or we'll get someone in. But and Helen, can I repeat your email? I'm not actually giving my own email out online. Can I ask you, if you need to contact me, do it in the first instance through member services at bookkeepers.org.uk. They'll pass it through to me, and then I will get back to you on an individual basis.
Yeah.
I found that if I give my email out over the phone or generally on one of these, I get inundated with all sorts of things that I then have to follow on. So at the moment, we're filtering everything through member services. It might take a day or so longer, but we'll get there to you. Okay, Helen, if that's all right. Okay.
I think, let's just have a look. Yeah, I think we're about done on the
I think we're done on the questions, so we're done on the chat.
Coming up to 4. Well, thanks, Jackie. I mean, another great session there, and 50 questions actually came across, according to that, according to my list there. So that's good. Plus a couple came through on Facebook, which is still going well there. And so that's fantastic. Thank you all for tuning in. That's our final hour for this week, although our hour sometimes spreads over, but it's a final hour for this week because there is no ICB TV tomorrow. As I've said, tomorrow is VE Day. So I hope you can see some sort of difference between your non-working day and your working day nowadays. It's a bit difficult, I know, but give yourself a break. Try not to do anything, those of you who have been working through. And we look forward to seeing you again on Monday. But don't forget, I know it's really sunny out there, but we haven't had the brakes taken off just yet. We don't want to end up with another spike and you know, some more unfortunate people getting this and even passing away from it. So it's a horrible thing to happen, and far too many have died already. We'd like to try and keep that low. So please, everybody, be careful, stay very safe, because we love having you as members, and you know, we'd like you to stay that way. So bye, everybody. See you again on Monday. Please tune in. See you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Have a good weekend all. Bye.